11, 11-5, 12-10, and then 11-6.
Gotcha.
All right.
We have a studio now, kind of, ish. I feel like we need a backdrop that's like, it's nice because it's like, it looks clean, but we need like, it to say like API.
Just get a TV, just turn the TV, stick it on the table.
Yeah, or you could just hold it the whole time. It's over your head. Asia Pickleball Insider right here. All right, we're back. And we got a new setup. So we have a camera up here, which, hello. But we also have our screen right here. So I want to look there, but we have to look there, right?
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. But if we're looking down when we're talking to you, just know that we are talking to you. But we'll try to look at you. So welcome back, Asia Pickleball Insider. I'm Rob Nunnery.
I'm Claudio.
We have a couple results to talk about, and then we have a special guest coming on to talk about what they're doing with the global side of the sport, having a competitive tour on the pro side, in a sense competing with PPA, UPA in terms of creating kind of a unified world ranking. It's kind of split into different regions, but more to come on that. For now, we had a WPC tournament last week in Malaysia, as well as a big singles-only event in Atlanta, Georgia, the Lifetime Open, which I believe was 50 grand USD to the winner. So big payday just for a singles-only event. So we'll talk a bit more about that, but let's get into the Malaysia results.
Yeah, so WPC Malaysia just happened October 14th to 16th, and a lot of the top pros joined and played. So shout out to Colin and Roman
Estrella. I played with Roman a little bit before. Great guy. Him and his partner Jazz have been bouncing around Asia, China a little bit. They played an event in Japan. So pretty cool. I mean, that's like the unique opportunity for us from the States. They're both from California, is that we get to come over and just, see pickleball in Asia, participate in a bunch of different sports and a bunch of different events throughout the different countries. And not only is it great for those countries and for those events to have U.S. pros come over and do that, but it's also great for the U.S. pros because they get exposure in new places, which is dope. But Roman's a great player. He played with Colin, who is a Malaysian number 1, I believe. Jimmy's also there. So yeah, one of the best players in Malaysia though. So really cool to see that result. Bring home the gold for, in front of the home crowd.
Yeah. And then singles, Jack Wong.
Jack Wong got it. But shout out to Fariz, Malaysian, who's also part of Ram Sports, a sponsor player. He beat Jack in pool play and then had a little bit of an injury and then wasn't able to pull it out in the knockout stages. But that's another interesting part about some of the Asian tournaments versus the States is, when the PPA comes here, it's just single elim. You lose, you're out. It's just knockout right away. In WPC, it's some of the other events. Also with Global, which we'll talk to Shashank about in a little bit, is they do the pool play first. So you play everybody in your pool, and then the top 2 usually go into the knockout stage. So it's a lot of pickleball. To each their own, right? They do the knockouts, or they do the pool play, then the knockout stage. So players get a lot of matches, which is good for the experience. Less good for the top players because you just have more matches to play. Yeah. You'd rather, if you're me, I'd rather just go straight into the knockout. But I get that locals especially want more match play and more practice.
They want to get their money worth.
Yeah, exactly. Well, when you'll get your money's worth.
Yeah, and then mixed doubles, Jack again with Nok Yu Tang as his partner.
Do you know anything about Nok Yu Tang?
No idea.
Me either. But must be good.
Must be good. Yeah. Then Lifetime Open, like you were talking about. But actually, sorry, going back to the Bali tournament. I think this was the biggest prize-wise. I can't remember, but I remember seeing that the prize was.
I think especially since there was only 2 events, right? So you basically had 125K purse to the men, 125K purse to the women, and I think on a per actual event basis, easily the biggest. 50K to the winner. I don't think we've ever seen anything like that before. So really, really dope that Lifetime was able to pull this together and really showcase the sport on the singles side. They also did best 3 out of 5, which was pretty interesting. Every game throughout the whole thing. So it was kind of like a tennis major type setup. But I believe even the women were doing 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't see that in tennis. Women only do 2 out of 3. So really cool. I mean, I think they only play 2 matches a day, which I say only 2 matches a day. That could be 5. That could be 10 games of singles. That's a lot. It's not just, that's a lot. Some of the results we got.
Yeah. Leah Jackson take it down Paris Todd. gold medal match in 4 games. 2 very close ones, 13-11 and 12-10. 2 of her wins.
That's huge, though. Big props to Leia. Congrats, Leia. You've been on and off bouncing in the singles draw, but to come back in the singles draw here and get some big wins and get the title, it's got to feel good. Well done.
Yeah, and then on the men's side, Chris Hayworth continuing his streak.
Dude, just talk about APP players, right? He recently made the move over, and they were always saying, "Can APP players compete?" Well, he just beat Fed, so who's the #1 ranked singles player in the world for now.
Yeah, it's him. He's bouncing around between him and Hunter, and there's a 5-game. Look at that score.
Yeah, so we have Hayworth 11-8, Fed 11-7, Fed 11-8. So Fed goes up 2-1. And then Hayworth, games 4 and 5, 11-1, 11-1. Said no more. And I like the best 3 out of 5 because it really is, it's a battle, right? To go up 2-1 and then for Hayworth to just really put the hammer down the last 2 games. It just, I think it really does, having the extended best out of 5 really shows who the better player is that day. You have less upsets and stuff like that. And really, really impressive stuff by Hayworth. Another great result was Donald Young.
Yeah.
He's obviously got a great tennis pedigree and has come on strong. I mean, Atlanta's his hometown, so the hometown event for him. And to get to the semis, looks like they canceled the bronze match. Not sure why.
Did the final, the 3rd and 4th, like points.
Okay, yeah. So technically, Zhao Mei got the bronze, DY got 4th, Will Howells got 5th, another APP shout out. So Dustin Boyer also not signed 6th, John Cangelosi 7th. Also, so we got Howells, Boyer, Cangelosi, none are signed. Hayworth's now signed. So we got 3 out of the top 7 that were non-PPA signed players, which interesting. So pretty cool to see all the players come together in Atlanta to battle it out. And yeah, big shout out to Hayworth, big shout out to DY, Donald Young on a great run to get into the semis at his hometown.
Yeah. So those are the tournaments that happened this week.
So excited to get the lowdown on what's happening with this World Pickleball Tour, what they're calling it, how it all works. Exciting stuff. Hello.
What's happening?
What is good?
All good. How are you?
All right. Shashank, welcome to the Asia Pickleball Insiders podcast. Excited to have you on. We are going to learn more about, hopefully, this big project that you're involved with, as well as some of the other organizations around the globe. One, welcome. How's everything? I know you guys have a lot in the works right now, especially getting ready for your December event.
First of all, thanks so much, Rob. Always a pleasure connecting with you. Migo, right? I've got Migo. Migo, good to see you. Thank you so much for having me on this podcast. Always a pleasure. And yes, many things happening in India. It's the festive season. One of our biggest festivals happening.
Diwali.
Called Diwali. So everyone's traveling a bit back home. And yeah, the pickleball universe is exploding in India, in Asia. So excited to just be a part of it and hoping for good things to happen. So yes, a lot on the table. Something happening all across the world for all pickleball players to enjoy. And then definitely, yes, the Grand Slam, the leagues in India in December. Yeah, exciting times, but hectic times as well.
And not only that, but I don't think Migo knows, but you are also heavily involved in the film industry and in India. Writes, directs, produces. Very busy man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I just had a film release. My film released worldwide on 2nd of October, and it's still running at the theaters.
What's the name? Where can we watch it? All of the.
It's definitely released in theaters across the world. I don't know what's happening there in the Philippines, but it's going to be on Netflix probably in December.
Okay, cool.
It'll hit Netflix in December. You don't want to get into the title. The title, as I mentioned, is something like Harry Met Sally. So it's called Sunny Sanskari Ki Tulsi Kumari. It's a bit of a rom-com.
That's your bread and butter too, right?
It's my bread and butter.
Love it. All right, cool. Well, I'd love to just, out of my own curiosity, obviously, as I try to look towards my 2026 scheduling and what I'm going to play and figuring all that out. I think one thing that's been a little bit of a question mark for me to be able to do that is understanding what's going on with the 2026 tour, how all of the different organizations tie together. what you guys are doing specifically with kind of your leg and your swing. So I'll open the floor to you to kind of lay it out there for us.
Well, the idea was simple. It was an opportunity to give all the pickleball players across the world a standard platform and also the opportunity to travel across the world. It started with APP, Mike, Ken, and us just having a lot of chats about how do we see pickleball, how do we really want to see the growth of pickleball across the world, and also from the perspective of a tour structure, how do we ensure that there is a standardized tour structure. I've always kind of maintained that anyone who needs to be the best in the world needs to travel across the world and play across the world in different travel conditions against different players of the world. And that's when you can stamp your authority. So that was the idea. It started with APP and us, and of course the English Open, the British Union came in, then Australia, then we started talking to Canada, and now we are already looking at about 10 to 11 countries as a part of it, creating like a 30 to 31 week calendar. Of course, people get to travel to India, people get to travel to Dubai, to Australia, to Malaysia, to Vietnam, Canada, England, a few countries in Europe are getting added on, of course, the US tour, and then figure out a ranking system so that everyone who's traveling and playing by the end of the year, you come to know through that ranking system who were the top performers, who were the top gainers, and just standardize the entire ranking, rating, as well as playing experience.
Love it. Love it. That's one thing I've been thinking about a little bit is how it's still pretty fragmented. And even with the PPA, right? It's like you have PPA, which you hear that, you think about the States, but then you have PPA Asia, PPA Australia, but each of those have their own kind of separate ranking. So it's not a standardized global ranking, which is something that I think we're still missing. So I love the concept. I love the idea. How far along are we in terms of like, is this for sure launching in 2026?
Absolutely. It's going to launch in 2026. I think the calendar is in place. The calendar has already been announced on the APP website and stuff in terms of the number of events, where it's happening. And of course, the details are figured out. We're trying to be as meticulous as possible, but it's a massive project to kind of
Yeah.
tie up with so many different countries, get everyone's timelines correct. We want to also ensure that every country has some kind of sponsorship support. A lot of the countries, starting with the APP, whether it's Canada, us, Australia, we are all trying to see how can we pool in resources. How do we make the experience good for the host country as well? Because one of
Yeah.
the things is very critical that everyone who joins the alliance or everyone who kind of comes on board, they should benefit out of it. The real aim is not so much so of just profiteering. But I would say the real agenda is how do we get more people to play pickleball? How do we get them to play it freely? I love
Yeah.
players. I'm a failed athlete, as you can call it. Ex tennis player who didn't do anything in life, and of course, luckily got to make movies. And I really feel for athletes. I really feel that there needs to be great opportunities for players across the world to play freely, and also to make money. I mean, let's understand everyone needs to make money to be able to sustain. You need to, if you want a good player to play for 30 years, 15 years, 20 years, you need to ensure they make good money, right? Also, the thing we are trying to do, and that is learning from sports across the world, money cannot be skewed in the hands of the top five or top 10. If you want a sport to flourish and thrive, you need to have 500 players making money and decent money where you can say that, hey, I have a career playing just the game. Everything else is an add on. So, of course, we're trying to work on different models. We've seen it in tennis, right? Tennis has always suffered because of this. Tennis has always been about the top 10 players. And there have been so many players playing the tour for 20 years and not being known, or for that matter, struggling to make ends meet. So we're trying to see how can we balance it out? How can we have a program? Of course, not all the answers we have, but I'm sure we'll figure it out along the way.
Like that. And I think that's a big piece of it is not making it so top heavy, which is what it's been in the past couple of years. Like you said, spreading that out so it's a bit more balanced. And obviously the top should be rewarded. But the goal here is to, like you said, have players be able to have careers with this, because that's what's going to ultimately grow the sport. You have to have if you're 40 in the world or ranked 40, you still have to be able to sustain a career based on it. And that should be a real goal for somebody that's coming into the sport, right? Knowing that if you can get into the top 50, that you can actually have a career, or as you mentioned, even deeper, and as deep as we can make it, ideally.
Yeah, and also to empower the local communities. Like every
Yes.
country, the top players, they should feel, it's a trickle down effect. The more countries, the top 10 players make careers, the sport becomes more popular. You're seeing what's happening in Vietnam and Malaysia with the top players doing so well. You're seeing it in India. Rob, you've been privy to that almost for the last 2.5 years. The minute Indian players start doing well internationally, there's a trickle down effect from a professional standpoint. From a community basis, it's always a popular game. It's a game we all love playing. We can play it with our families. We can just get along. And I think that's the real strength of pickleball. But we need to kind of take that community feeling and put it on the pro structure as well. Of course, you want characters in the game. You don't want pro players to just come and keep hugging each other. Of course, you want to see the battles out there. You want to see the aggression. But I think the
Set,
overall feeling needs to be
set
one
as
of,
a real set as a real Bollywood writer right there.
I mean, yeah, I see some action. Like, I don't mind a fight on court, but I definitely want to see a stronger community feeling. Like, I really want to ensure that, you know, there are 500 pro players traveling rather than just 10 players traveling. And that will happen once you make the game more accessible and really ensure they have careers. So the work is towards that. Of course, we're a long way away, but it needs to start from somewhere. And hopefully, we are in the right direction.
Love it. And for obviously, I've participated in all your events over the past couple of years. So for global sports in particular, looking ahead to 2026, are you having again the Indian Open? I know you did a Dubai event that I participated in May of this year. So are you doing Bombay, Dubai, and kind of that same schedule? And are all of those events tied into this World Alliance, or are those separate?
Yes. So we are looking to tie up all those events as part of the World Alliance so that any pro player who is coming in also gets to experience India, the culture, the game, but also can build in ranking points as well. So starting off next year, of course, we still have a massive event happening in December, which is going to be the season 2 of our leagues. Along with that, the Grand Slam of pickleball, which is the biggest pickleball event ever. It almost has a prize money of 500,000 USD. We just announced the details. So the doubles winners are going to walk up with 25K. The singles winner walks off with 50K and so on and so forth. But also the payout is till the pre-quarters. So we are not paying
That's
just the
great.
top one or the top four. We actually have 16 payouts per category. And of course, the Triple Crown winners, if someone ends up winning a Triple Crown, gets a bonus of 12K. So there's a lot of money on hand, and of course, it's a bit skewed. We all, there's always appreciation and criticism. There's always criticism that why so much money? Is the game still there? Why are we spoiling players and stuff? But our perspective is, if we do need to spoil anyone, let them be the players. I much rather the players make money, right? And so that they can really dream of a career. So, of course, we have December. And starting with the 2026 calendar, all the events come under this alliance. We have the Indian Open happening in the first week of Feb. Then from there, we get into Dubai. This time, we are launching leagues in Dubai as well. So, we are going to have the first, like the same model of the global sports leagues in India. We have the league model happening that's happening in April, end March, first week April. We're just tying in the dates and along with the Dubai event as well. So that becomes again a wholesome experience for people coming in. The league players can come in, play the event, and players from all across India, Asia, the world can come in. We get back into July, August with the Monsoon Pickleball Championships, something Rob's now played 2 years in a row. It's almost home territory for him. We go down there. Once again, still thinking about another event in Dubai in maybe September, October. That's not locked in, but again comes back with the Grand Slam and the leagues in December. So we have a solid calendar of 4 to 5 events spread between India and Dubai. And when I say India, not necessarily only Mumbai, but this time we're also looking at a few other cities. want to really expand the game within India. India is massive. There is pickleball happening everywhere. And we really want to ensure that our marquee events give the opportunity for players to travel across the country as well.
I love that. Where outside of Bombay, Shashank, what would you say is the next large, not largest city, but the next place where pickleball is exploding in India?
I would actually say there's a city in Gujarat called Ahmedabad. I would say it's actually at par with Mumbai or maybe even overtaken. And I'm actually just back home to Nasik, which is a city about 100 miles from Mumbai, which is called like a two-tier city or a smaller city. And I actually thought there is very little pickleball here. We were the first guys to start 4 courts here. And I'm back here and I was at a party last night and everyone's talking pickleball and pickleball investment. So I just started taking account of it. And from just a rough estimate, there are almost about 30 courts in this small city. And the way things are going, in the next 6 to 8 months, there are going to be 100 courts here. So just the penetration of pickleball across the country in smaller towns, it's seeping in. There is validation coming from the government. The government has made an announcement where there's an official federation. So keeping all that in mind, I think the growth is now going to be substantial. You've already seen the impact in Vietnam and Malaysia and Japan and China and the things that are happening over there. They also have the advantage of all the news coming in together because they are slightly smaller countries when it comes to geography and population. So you see most of them together. In India, every tournament's a surprise because you suddenly realize there is a bunch of players playing in one part of India, and this is the first time they've decided to come out. So I think the numbers are insane in it.
Yeah, I think that's one thing I don't always quite comprehend is the scale. I think about it with China as well, like the scale with India, the scale with China, and how I don't think it fully registers with people how big the sport could be in each of those countries based on how accessible it is, like you mentioned. It's the one thing that really attracted to me about working with Global when I've done work with you guys is you told the story about street cricket and how no matter where you come from in the country, no matter what economic background you come from, you have a path to creating not just a career, but like you have the chance and a pathway to become a real star and to not just change your own life or your family's life, but to change your entire village's life with what you can do. And that's always attracted me about what you guys are doing in terms of making it accessible, because I think that's the most powerful story on the planet in respect to sport.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think the biggest heroes who are celebrated are the ones who have actually transformed the image of the country, or for that matter, the entire region, the city, ensure that their name alone leads to tourism, leads to multiple jobs. So even when it comes to creation of jobs and creation of careers, it's not just the players, it's the entire ecosystem that you create. Coaches, infrastructure, equipment, manufacturing, all of those coming in together. And ultimately, for any sport to grow, you need the big manufacturers to believe that this sport is a market. People will buy their merchandise. They will find, you're seeing it in the case of paddle operators. It's not yet seeped in completely in the case of apparels, but I think it's going to happen soon. Right now, of course, it's the paddle operators who are creating the apparels. But once the apparel companies start seeing the business side of things, and really, really important that you understand the power of creating stars. I mean, there has been stardom is one, of course, authentic. The player needs to be good, but it's the other part of it as well, where you need to let that story penetrate. Need to let that story reach more people and understand where these players come from, what they have done. I'm not even so worried about whether they come from villages in India or whether they come from metros across the place. You can have some privilege, you can have no opportunities, but the fact that the number of hours you need to put in to the game of pickleball to get better and improve small nuances which can help you become a better player. Pickleball is always thought of because of the size of the court, that it might not be as athletic or as competitive but it's only once you start playing the game you understand the kind of explosive power you require, the leg strength, the core strength. It's a game of chess. So all these things, details, these need to be packaged into accessible stories and send out to players and fans and letting the world know that there's really a revolution happening and can we all be a part of it?
Agreed. And that's honestly your strategic advantage is having the background in film and storytelling. And I think that's where you guys can really shine a light on some of those human interest stories, which are what sport's all about, right? Like you think about reality television, the best reality television in the world is sport.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you can see the drama unfold in front of you. I mean, and it's every time when you've had characters and heroes, you've seen the sport thrive, you've seen the sport grow. And also, we are in difficult times for sport in general. People want to be more experiential. People don't really want to be hooked on to just their sets watching. And that's where I think pickleball has such a massive advantage because every amateur player loves playing and every amateur player loves watching the pros. And the mindset is beautiful because when you enter a tournament or a village or a carnival, you're like, okay, I'm not very far away from the pros. And then you start playing them and you get whooped and you're like, okay, I'm really far away from the pros. I need to fix these things. I guess Migo is the guy. His smile said it all. But that with this guy, it's happened to me multiple times. I tried facing him, then I tried partnering him and I brought him down. So I'm that guy. But that's the beauty of creating these beautiful tournaments, carnival like effect. And I really think it needs to be great experiences, right? You need to, the next couple of years, next 2, 3 years, we just need to, all the stakeholders of the game, and I mean it from the most purest place in my heart, whoever is doing pickleball anywhere in the world, first of all, I have a lot of respect, whatever you're doing, because it's not easy at whatever level. But I think the real agenda needs to be how do we first create a great experience to build loyalty in the hearts of people. I also believe a lot of negative press talking against each other, trying to put someone down, it already shows very badly on a sport which is very new. It might be a mature sport in America, but from a world standpoint, people are not aware of it. We're still trying to learn about it. And I think what needs to get communicated is that it's a community sport. It's a sport which can bring happiness and joy to the pro players as well as to communities. And I think anyone who is smiling and playing the game is going to have a better chance of thriving and surviving for a longer time versus players who are stressed out and wondering what to do next. We are trying to create that gap. We're trying to create stories in a way where you can kind of give people career opportunity.
Yeah. And, you know, as someone who does help run tournaments here in the Philippines, I'll let me join. I know every other country outside the ones that have already joined would be dying to join what you guys are creating over there with the APP and global sports. And how could different federations, different organizations look to join what you guys are doing and support that and help that out moving forward?
Nothing just begins with intent first that hey, there's something happening and you can reach out to me, you can reach out to Mike and any of the guys you know on that thing. We'll connect with you. We'll explain what we are doing. Also, I'm just putting it out. We are learning along the way. With everyone joining in, they're giving us tips, they're understanding. I think what's pure in our case is the intent. There are a lot of pieces of the puzzle we are still trying to figure out. How are we going to get the players to travel? Where's the money going to come from? What's going to a central sponsorship going to look like? But that's fine. We'll answer those questions along the way. So as I said, anyone, it's just a reach out job like, for example, you mentioned you now know me, just a text message or an email. We will chat. We'll get you connected to we are trying to structure it. We are putting some committees in place who can kind of review sponsorship, review add ons to member nations, understand where loyalty is coming from. I think the key of this alliance is going to be loyalty to each other, loyalty to the players, loyalty to every stakeholder. And I think part of the loyalty is that once someone's on board, we are collectively fighting to ensure they stay afloat and they make money and they become, it happens year after year. I think longevity is really important. We can't start something and it ends in a year or 2 years. We need to ensure that it has legs. So we're trying to put those plans into place. So as I said, reaching out is very easy. Luckily, the world is very small when it comes to pickleball. Everyone knows everyone. Just message, call, WhatsApp, email. We'll get connected. We'll ensure that we take all the information from you, put it to the reviewing committee. We also realize this is just year one, so everyone needs to be a bit patient. What might also happen is, and that's the dream, that by year two, there will be two tournaments in every week. So there are certain players who can go here, and the certain players who can go to another country, and that's how the game will spread. And then as pro players, you will have options on the table. Hey, do I go east? Do I go west? Do I go to Australia? Do I go to Europe? And that'll be beauty of pickleball, that it's spreading so fast across the world.
Love it. Well, appreciate you taking the time, Shashank. It's been good to hear kind of what you guys have cooking and how it ties into a little bit of the global alliance. Any other final thoughts?
Nothing, just message out to everyone who's playing pickleball across the world, and especially all my friends in Asia, because we are watching you. You guys are doing a tremendous job all across the world. Watch out for the Grand Slam of pickleball. The registrations are going to start in about 2 to 3 days. We've already started flooding it on our social media. We're going to send it out to you. Please come experience India, see the league, see pickleball, and of course, let's build a relationship together for the future.
Love it. Love the message. Love the unity, and we will make sure to get the message out to everybody here in Asia if they would like to come to Bombay for the Grand Slam.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Rob. Thank you, Migo. Good catching up. Hopefully in person soon. Excellent.
Likewise. See you, Shashank. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Yeah, that was Shashank. Crazy stuff. Super exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to most of all their tournaments over the past couple of years. They've always done a really good job in terms of running events, hosting, being good to the players. And what's always attracted to me to global sports and that organization is their focus on grassroots, which I think is so important. And like I mentioned in the chat with Shashank, is the fact that he told me that story about street cricket. That's been probably the most impactful story that I've heard. And I just love the thought of being able to bring pickleball to less developed nations and giving people from all economic backgrounds an opportunity to actually find something that they love and create a career in it, whether it's playing, whether, like Shashank mentioned, coaching, manufacturing, whatever it may be. It's a full industry within itself. And the fact that you can come from nothing, and it doesn't take much, like similar to soccer, it doesn't take much to play, right? You need a couple paddles, a net, you can have dirt lines, whatever. It doesn't take much. And you can start playing the sport, enjoying it. And yeah, that really resonates with me.
Yeah, and I think just being able to provide support. I love what he said about if an organization needs help, they will keep it afloat. They want it to be there.
Yeah.
And I think just being able to give that support to grassroots organizations all in Asia is going to be so, so, so helpful in helping grow the sport, like you said, and also just supporting more than just the proceeds.
Yeah.
Right? We were talking about it the other week about how 99% of the pickleball market is the amateurs, is the people that are watching, that are concerned.
Yeah.
And being able to support those grassroots organizations, even outside of pro events, is going to be so great. And I hope, I didn't get a chance to ask him, but I hope that the events that are happening are going to have an amateur side of it.
They do.
They do. Awesome. So
Yeah.
that's one of the best parts about pickleball for me. It's not just that you go to a tennis tournament or a basketball tournament, you don't expect them to play.
Yeah.
You don't go to the Lakers home court and expect to play next to LeBron. No.
Yeah.
But in pickleball, even if you're not a pro, you get to show up, you get to play, you get to compete, you get to experience the thrill. And it's just one of the best parts of pickleball for me.
It creates almost like a little, festival like atmosphere where, you're participating, you're watching, you're getting to see the players mix in, and there's a lot going on. Again, it makes for a better atmosphere versus just showing up for an event and just knowing that you're just going to spectate, right?
Yeah.
So I love the aspect where it's almost interactive. I thought it was only, I don't know if you guys saw that, but the thumbs up popped up. Was it?
It was on my face or something. I don't know. Anyways.
But I thought it only happened on iMessage or like FaceTime. Fascinating. We're learning. But yeah, great to have Shashank on. What I'd love to do is, have some, look at the different different organizations within the alliance and bring on different operators and hear about their take on what they're going to do to grow tournaments and host the events in their own home country.
Yeah.
So that'd be fun.
Yeah. And just hoping because a lot of countries right now, a lot of the operations, even from the federation, are very grassroots. Having that major support behind them is going to help so much in keeping events organized, well funded, and overall just improving the quality of the sport for everyone that plays, everyone that watches. And
I think a challenge that they will run into, though, and I'm sure they are very aware of this, is having so many different tentacles to the organization, right? Like you don't really have a central organized body. You have a bunch of different organizations kind of all coming together under the same premise, with the same vision, with the same goals, supporting each other. But it is fractured out to where, I wanted to ask this, but is it going to be all branded under one organization? Is it going to be, and what is that? So there's a lot to figure out. As Shashank mentioned, they're learning as they go. They don't want it to stop them. So I'm sure we'll continue to see it develop, but it's regardless.
Yeah, and I think as long as they keep the ranking, the branding connected, that's one of the other great parts about pickleball is that everyone can do their own thing, and as long as it's connected on the main elements,
yeah,
it's great, and it provides differences for the sport. Like you don't want to be playing a tournament in the States and then play a tournament in Vietnam and like, oh, this feels exactly the same.
100%. And that's one of my complaints, like playing in the States and on the tours, is that week to week, you didn't know if, like, you could have been in Cincinnati, you could have been in Dallas. They feel the exact same. They look the exact same. And if you're watching on the stream, you also don't know whether it's Dallas or Cincinnati. So I completely agree. Like if you're watching tennis, you know whether you're watching Indian Wells versus watching Shanghai.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's different feel, different look. And I think pickleball definitely needs that, where it has its own personality and flair based on where the tournament's being held.
Yeah. So, got experience all 60. It's going to play all 60.
Yeah, I got my work cut out for me. Knees ready. Luckily I'm getting younger every year, so that helps. I'm going in the right direction. But yeah, it's a great episode.
Yeah.
Good chatting with Shashank, and we will catch up with you next week. For Asia Pickleball Insider, Rob Nunnery.
Migo, Claudio. Tune in next week for Inside Scoop on PCL Philippines. We're going to have my dad on as a guest.
Yes.
It'll be Claudio. We're going to be talking about PCL Philippines. We're going to be previewing the lineup, and it's going to be great. So subscribe.
Nailed it. I was going to forget it. I even tried to get us out of this before you could even talk about next week. So good save. All right. Thanks, guys. See you next week.